afternoon. I think I'm a little bit of an anomaly for the type of business for this group, but I want to talk a little bit about where the business is going and how we have an opportunity to take advantage of it. In 1996, I got involved in the gold business when people said gold was never really going to go much over $300. I think we're at the start of a new business here in reuse and recycle. Ridgeline is an energy services company, and it is an energy service company that has a new technology that handles or treats water in the oil and gas industry. But really, it's a technology company going forward that can treat water in just about any kind of industry. So the oil and gas is where we're focused because that's our background and our relationship with our current clients. But it has an ability to expand beyond that. I'm going to touch base why it's important in the oil and gas business. I doubt whether anybody here is not familiar with the term hydraulic fracturing or fracturing. It's a new unconventional way to release hydrocarbons from tight formations. What happens when you do that is you generally need a lot of fresh water or clean water to do the fracturing. But because you're also fracturing the rock to release the hydrocarbons, you also tend to release a lot of water. So it's not just the frack water that comes back, it's the produced water. In the United States alone, this point up here, 25 billion barrels of water a year was produced in 2007. I think that number is closer to 35 billion today. That water comes back from Mother Earth, and it's generally not very nice. It's usually pretty nasty stuff that comes back. Traditionally, what people do with it, they put it in a truck it away, and inject it some other place. I'm going to talk about that because it impacts the unconventional drilling. The other impact on water is the oil sands business. For every barrel of water up there, for every barrel of oil up there, they do about 4 barrels of water, 4 to 5. You overlay that with environmental regulations that are happening. For instance, you may have heard in Pennsylvania, they have prohibited the reinjection of processed or flow black water into the ground. So they have to ship it out to Ohio, which now has a moratorium on it because they believe it caused an earthquake, the injection of the water into the ground. There's other areas. Texas is now getting more difficult to have saltwater disposal wells. This is just a chart somebody has given as a picture where they think, some consulting group has given a picture, what they think is going to happen to technology or equipment that's going to be applied to treating water in the oil and gas business. What Ridgeline really has in this whole equation is a new technology called electrocatalytic that uses electricity and catalyst to break water apart. It's not like we have one silver bullet. We have a silver bullet at the front end that breaks the water apart, and then we use a variety of proprietary and off-the-shelf technologies to strip the contaminants out of the water so that you can either reuse it or discharge it in a safe manner. And that's what we have. It's not a trade secret. It's not a patented secret. It's a trade secret, and we plan on keeping that secret for as long as possible. About a year and a half ago, we did a trial on some oil sands tailings pond water, which really got me committed to this project. On the left-hand side there, you see a barrel of fairly dirty, contaminated, very smelly water. We built a Lexan reactor so that we could see the reaction. That's the second from your left. You can't see through the reactor. Literally seconds after the electrocatalytic reaction occurred, you could see right through the reactor. On the top, which you can't see, we siphoned off the hydrocarbon, or in this case it was bitumen, into that beaker there. We siphoned off almost 100%, 99.9% of all the hydrocarbon in the water, and that can be reused. This is the process that I looked at a year and a half ago, and I said, look, we have a unique technology here. Let's go out and try and make it work in the industry. The other side of the equation, what I looked at is, if you go and look on Google, you will get a list pages and pages long of people who clean water. We were a small company, so I really didn't have the resources to go and experiment with everybody else, but we went to our clients because Ridgeline has around 40 major oil and gas companies, and we talked to them and we said, what are you using? What are your experiences? And I'm not going to go, because I don't have a lot of time here, go through each one of these, but these are the standard ones you'll find. And what we've found is our technology, the key difference about it is that we can do the water treatment to the standard our clients need. At worst, half the cost of our competitor, and at best 3 to 4 times lower than the cost of our competitor. And we can tailor that product to what they need. So that's part of another reason why we can be cost effective. How are we going to deliver that to market? We've focused on the unconventional drilling area. The first picture up there is a facility in Los Angeles at an industrial wastewater complex, and we have what is called a mobile development lab. We use that to treat in the site, on site with people to determine what particular requirements they have for treating the water. The key or the core to our technology application is the single train and 4-train system. The single train system will do about 2,500 barrels a day or 500 cubic meters. The 4-train is just 4 of those single trains put together, but it's kind of put together in a unique way where we get economies of scale as we gear up. Everything is modular, so when we build one reactor system, it's the same for everything. We don't have to redesign. We just have modules that we build together. We have a single train system. This one here, this is in Lomos Rojas. It's outside of Jal, New Mexico for a large E&P company. What they do here, and this is our business model, is where they have oil fields, they'll have multiple oil wells where they feed a battery, and the battery's job is to separate the oil from the water. The water is decanted out, and it goes through this facility of ours, goes into those storage tanks, and they either get to use it to refrac, or they then have an opportunity of discharge. Sometimes the water comes back so contaminated or full of totally dissolved solids, even if they drill a well to inject into it, it plugs the well up. So our job is to either have more water for reuse, for storage, or for discharge. This system has a very unique capability in the sense that we've just recently determined that we can extract microscopic oil out of it, which has another value. The client said, look, there's no oil in this, don't do it. We actually pulled out 0.8% oil. Now, I went from a single train system. You can see this is a 4-train system. We get economies of scale going from 1 to 4 because we have overlapping equipment that reduces the overall capital cost. This is a business model. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but based on what we think is probably our lowest price, one of those 4-train systems should generate around $3 million a year in revenue with a cost of just over $1 million for about a 60% margin. We anticipate to be able to do 10 to 12 of those in our next fiscal period. We don't have contracts yet, but we believe we're right on the verge of it because what's happening with all the pressure for people to reduce their cost of water, they're looking for solutions. Ridgeline is not a company that I consider to be a clean tech or an environmental company. We are an energy service company that has a solution to provide cheaper costs for our clients. The benefit is you get a better environmental product. This is some more pictures and just a picture of the size of the market. Again, 25 billion barrels. That's a lot of water and it's growing. We haven't really touched on some of the other areas that we're looking at. We've got clients in next week, one of the larger oil and gas companies who does polymer flood. Their location handles around 30,000 cubic meters of water per day. They want us to be able to clean the water so they can enhance the water recovery. A lot of SAGD operations. The 2 biggest problems they have are microscopic oil and dissolved silica. We can knock those out of the system. The next opportunity is not in the oil and gas. This facility we have just outside of Los Angeles is industrial waste, and we're processing about 130 different customers supplied water there. We're in the stage of trying to take that from a client that hardly ever cleaned the water to a standard where we can discharge it and do it a lot cheaper, but discharge a lot more volume because we've reduced the contaminants significantly. This is a bit of sort of a milestone of what we've accomplished. We actually started this about 2.5 years ago, and we started it. It's funny how technologies come about. We had an attorney associate of ours who was looking at a company in Vegas that collects all the interceptor waste. That means all the oil and grease that you get in a restaurant, and he takes that back, he cracks out the fuel or the oil, the cooking oil, makes a biodiesel out of it. It has about 7% fuel, about 93% water. And he had a problem because the water was costing him too much to pay for discharge. If he cleaned it up enough, he could just sit it for no charge into the municipal waste system. That attorney saw that happen and he said, I wonder if that would work in the fracking business. That was 2.5 years ago, the inventor, Dennis Danzig, who did that, has been doing that in Vegas for about 5 years. So it's not like we've got a brand new technology, but we've taken the last 2.5 years to transition it from that application of 20 gallons a minute to where we do around 600 gallons per minute for a 4-train system, and with certain other chemical issues that had to be modified. Just a little bit of background, so you're not looking just at a technology company. Ridgeline has been around for about 11 years. The real strength we have is the people have the relationships and the knowledge of the oil patch. So that's why we get in through the door when some other technologies don't. We also understand, or the clients understand, that we know how to work around a well site. We've also started up another business. It's about 1.5 years ago, is the greenfield business, where we take hydrocarbon contaminated soils that you find around well sites, and instead of taking that soil and putting it in a landfill where it stays forever, we'll put it on that pad. That just looks like a heap leach pad for a gold mine or something. We'll put it on that pad, we'll process it with our knowledge and technology, clean it to a point where it can be used, say a municipality who's got a daily cover requirement for their garbage site. So we never fill that up. We'll fill it up, treat the soil, put it on, and go back to it. Our benefit there is we can be very close to where the oil sites are because we have a lower capital cost in installing that. We just have a lot of clients, as you can see that list, and I'm not going to go through any more. If you want, I'm sure you can go to our website and get the same presentation off there. Really, this is a story of reuse and recycle that is starting to really take off in all different industries. Thank you very much.